I have done it at last. At last, I am a fully fledged member of the Undertale fandom. I've finally written an original Undertale Sans AU. Minced Sans is my own creation. He's almost completely blind. A human splashed his eyes with some chemical mixture, and it's disrupted his magic. The chemicals sank into the scars already around his eyes, so he will retain some pinkish marrow bone scars forever. However, besides his scars and his vision, Sans was undamaged. Minced Sans comes from a world in which humans banned monsters from the surface, but only centuries later accepted several younger monsters as transfers, integrating monsters into human society, and some humans into monster society. Sans was chosen to go to the surface, but shortly after he came up, he got in a fight with some human thugs and was sent back down. They scraped him up with crushed glass. That's how he got his scars. Sans came back hurt and functionally blind, which is why this papyrus is resentful toward and distrustful of humans. Sans, in contrast, has maintained a carefree attitude and trust of those around him, despite what he's been through. That includes a trust of humans. However, he worries for his brother as he is no longer able to look out for him as he once did. His eyelights are a fuzzy gray. A few years after his transfer ended, Sans was regaining some of his sight as his eyes began to heal. In this AU, they're much younger than I imagine they are in canon. He was interning with W.D. Gaster and another human intern. However, while carrying chemicals in the lab he was apprenticing at, one of the few jobs that he was able to do as his eyes healed, Sans bumped into the human apprentice he was working with. His error knocked down both of them and sprayed the chemicals all over them both. The human was able to wash it out, but Sans was not so lucky. By the time the human had led him to a wash station, the chemicals had seeped into his sockets, permanently blinding him. Sans told Papyrus it was an accident, but Papyrus still acts cold around humans to this day. Sans's closest friend is Doggo, who also has vision problems. Sans can see blobby colors and shapes, but only under bright lights and only when he concentrates. When he does concentrate, his eyes glow a foggy blue, milky blue. Minced Sans uses a cane to walk, picking up some methods from the humans for scoping out the area around him, as well as defending himself, if need be, with his cane. Minced Sans is not a nice name. He got it in response to both the scars around his eyes and the clumsy way he walked shortly after returning from the overworld, blind. He brought Honey back with him. That's why people started to nickname him Honey instead. The haters have mostly been sent back to their people, if they were human, or reprimanded by the king and challenged by Papyrus until they backed down. Sans has actually become more cheerful following his injury, seeing it as a chance to remake his life. He also does not feel limited by his blindness, as his magic and cane can help him feel his way around. That's my Sans AU. Sans is, to recap, almost entirely blind. However, he has just enough vision that he can see blobby shapes and colors in bright light. And when he does this, his eyes glow milky blue. Sans is trusting and sincere around people and monsters, humans and monsters. But Papyrus is distrustful due to the way that Sans got his scars from humans and the way that he got permanently blinded in an accident with a human. I'll put pictures in the comments thing. I hope you enjoy. This Sans AU is meant to be very innocent and lighthearted, or heartwarming, I guess, not lighthearted. It should be a story of just a guy who is living with his blindness and has found a way to make his life better throughout that learning curve. Papyrus is a very supportive younger brother. They're both in very young adulthood at this point. Yeah. Enjoy. You have my permission to play with the characters and ask questions in the comments, and I will answer to the best of my ability with some of my art and or written responses, or even a video. Bye.